Nature has its own way of treating every single factor that is a part of it. Throughout different events of history, we've seen that there were species that became extinct because of natural disasters. Take dinosaurs, for example. But many of them are the ones that got removed from the face of the earth because of unnecessary steps taken by the human beings very recently. These steps involve hunting and also taking away their natural habitat, or simply causing adverse effects to the environment. Before we get started, let me remind you to hit the subscribe button below and press that bell icon to get regular updates. Here is the list of the top 10 animals that recently became extinct. Number 10. Booble hartebeest. We will start our list with the booble hartebeest, an antelope that used to live in the north of Africa and was known for the elongated skull face. It was a subspecies that in the period of time was heavily hunted on various expeditions. The last known individual that lived in Algeria was killed as well, and that was recorded between 1945 to 1954. Number 9. Tasmanian tiger. Considered as one of the prime cloning subjects for animals that need to come back to life, and the efforts for doing so have already been started. Tasmanian tigers were known to have stripes, and they, in one time, used to exist almost everywhere in Australia. But as these animals had to hunt for their living, they got in the crossfire of humans, and their cattle as their food. Because of protection, a lot of them were either shot or trapped. Back in 1936, before their extinction, they were officially declared as an endangered species, and even today there are rumors of their sightings. Number 8. West African black rhinoceros. Most of the rhinos came to the decline in the past century, and the reason is quite simple. Their habitat is being taken away from them, and their horns were no less than a prized trophy. Extensive amounts of hunting caused the end of another one of the subspecies of West African black rhinoceros. They were declared extinct in 2011. And this was followed after having an extensive survey which resulted in not a single sighting of the species. The increased demand of the rhino horn here definitely is the criminal. Number 7. The Javan tiger. Another tiger species that actually faced the brink of extinction, but not so long ago. The Javan tiger is said to have gone extinct by the middle of the 1970s. They were brought to this point because of the extensive amount of hunting and also the loss of the forests that were really important for their nurturing. However, just recently there have been expeditions for this tiger to appear again, as some authorities have been optimistic that it still might be alive. Number 6. Caribbean monk seal. Yet even more bad news that was in large amounts all around the globe. This seal was said to be extinct back in 2008 after extensive amount of surveys and findings. The reason, yet again, was the immense amount of hunting back in the late 15th century. Their meat, along with their fur, was in a huge demand and kept the expectations high. In no time, a simple hunt became the overhunting, and their population was heavily disturbed. This finally brought about an end to another innocent breed of our planet. Number 5. Tecopa pupfish. It is shocking to hear about the loss of species that we see walking on the earth. But it can be even more devastating to find out that even marine life has been affected with this. Another victim of the change in the habitat of aquatic life was the Tecopa pupfish. It lived in around 108 Fahrenheit temperature. But it was back in around 1970 that the development of hot springs made the environment for this small fish totally unbearable. And with time, they became extinct as well. Number 4. Quagga. Having only a few recorded doubtful sightings and a few pictures on the record, quagga fascinates everyone because of its physique and in between a zebra and a horse. Quagga also fell in front of the greed of all the people who thought that the same animal was competing with the livestock for grazing area. Last known and recorded sighting of this species was in the Amsterdam Zoo, and that same quagga died in 1883. Number 3. Passenger pigeon. In old times and during World Wars, there was a trend of shooting down all the pigeons that were seen flying in the air. Passenger pigeons were perhaps one of the vastly found pigeons in the United States. Even at one time, they were counted as a total of in between 3 billion and 5 billion in Europe. Most of the pigeons in that time were also used as a source of meat, and too much hunting and trapping in the 19th century dramatically brought down their numbers from billions to hundreds, and later it was officially declared extinct in 1914. Number 2. Pyrenean ibex. The most recent wild goat that became extinct is the Pyrenean ibex. Once again, thanks to the human population and its tendency to hunting. These goats were declared extinct in 2000, and in one time were found in all of the European countries. Although science used DNA modification and other techniques to bring the species back to life, due to multiple diseases, it died shortly after its birth. Number 1. Northern white rhino. Last but not least, we're going to talk about the species that lasted thousands of years, but actually lost to the human race recently this year. The last living known northern white rhino recently died in March of 2018. This was reportedly the last male rhino standing, and having just 2 other females left. Sudan was 45 years old at the time of his death, and was a part of multiple breeding programs that all failed with it. Let us know which one you loved the most, and if we missed one, let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos.